allegedly marrying off his 12-year-old daughter to a 26-year-old man. The article suggested that the practice of adult men taking child brides could be deemed morally acceptable if there was no coercion and if the girl was mature at age 12.
Mate, give me a break. There's one little exercise, a mental exercise I'd like you to try.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine the Festival of Dangerous Ideas or the ABC or Fairfax, any of that group, bringing out the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan and saying, how good is the idea that you should just run black people over or lynch them or get crosses burning?
That's a dangerous idea.
Why is it? What is the difference with the radical Islamists, with Hizb ut-Tahrir, and the things that they do as just normal? How the hell do we tolerate Islamism as a legitimate ideology and give it any sort of breathing space?
I made the same point the other night off-air to someone while I was arguing that something had to be done about this speech that was planned before the thing was then cancelled. I made the same point. They said, the person I was talking to was saying, no, but it's supposed to be about dangerous ideas. And I said, yeah, but mass murder is a dangerous idea as well. Sexual assault is a dangerous idea. What, are you going to invite a pedophile up on stage to talk? Someone who goes around raping people, you know?
Uthman Badar is a person who promotes paedophilia. Now, I've got an ACMA finding in relation to something I said on the radio a while ago, so I can say it with confidence. The Prophet Muhammad was a paedophile, a pederast, a sexual offender, a man who promoted the idea that it was okay to marry a 6-year-old and consummate the marriage when the little girl was 9. And that's written into their books. It's a part of the philosophy. I do not know how we allow those books, Ben, to be on bookshelves.
When you say written into their books, because there'll be people listening at the moment, it's in the Quran?
Absolutely.
What does it say?
Google my name, Michael Smith, at TUE, because the usual suspects went to town, when I said it last time on the radio, made a complaint to the Australian Communications and Media Authority saying you can't say anything bad about the Prophet.
And you won?
I won. Because it's factually correct.
Why is it? All right, explain this to me. Why is it that other nations have been able to ban Hizb ut-Tahrir and we don't?
Courage. Simple as that. You need politicians with fibre, with steel in their backbone to stare these people down and say there is no way that any aspect of your ideology is legitimate. I'm sorry, but you're banned. We are not going to have books about paedophilia and what have you as part of some legitimate philosophical or religious movement. It is not. It is illegitimate. It is illegal. And the whole idea that you could talk about any of those nations as having any sort of legitimacy or place in a modern Western democracy, it's an anathema, Ben. I mean, we shouldn't even be giving it the time of day to talk about it. I watched the ABC's The Drum yesterday. They treated it seriously, as if it was a debate that was okay to have, as if it might have one outcome A or one outcome B. There is no alternate outcome. You cannot allow people to propagate these sorts of ideas and develop a following of people who will carry them out.
Let me go to Mohammed, who's called in. Michael Smith is my guest. Mohammed, good afternoon.
Mate, what the heck do you think you're adding to the debate, Michael, when you come out and call the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, a pedophile?
Well, mate, what did he do when Aisha was 9 years old?
Hang on, relax. Let me talk, and then I'll deal with that. Okay, coming out and calling him a pedophile is absolutely ridiculous, mate. What do you think that's going to
Mohammed, hang on, Mohammed.
Hang on.
Mohammed.
What do you think in terms of the debate, except getting people upset and find out people who actually support a lot of what you guys are saying?
Okay, calm.
Mohammed, you just have to answer the
Michael
question.
and Mohammed, just stop for a moment. Mohammed, if you don't stop, Mohammed, the call will be over because I just want everyone to calm down for a moment. Just calm down for a moment. Mohammed's now hung up. So we haven't cut him off. He's hung up. So you've clearly upset Mohammed.
Mohammed, I'm apologising for upsetting you. However...
look, I can imagine, and I don't know, and I haven't read the Quran, right? I haven't.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people have got into it, and then the moment you discuss this, you have one person ringing up and saying, it says this, someone else says it doesn't say that. I can understand why someone, a peace-loving Muslim, would be upset hearing something like what you just said.
I can't because...
But I don't know what's in there, so you
let me tell you.
Okay.
The little girl, Aisha, was 6 years old when she was married to this man, And the historical recordings, the Crown and what have you, record that in the language of the time he entered her house, 9 years old when he consummated the marriage. Now, that is one of the ideas that this mob, Hizb ut-Tahrir, promote, that it is okay to treat little girls in that way. It is not. And you simply can't allow into a civilised community even the debate.
So when
that
they
it is
say
okay.
entered her house,
Yeah,
that's
well,
somehow...
consummated the marriage, Ben.
And how do we know that that's what that means?
The scholars who talk about the Quran, talk about the historical writings of the Islamist movement, of the religion, are unequivocal on it, unanimous. And that's what the finding in ACMA said in relation to me. It was factually accurate to make that point, and it is a legitimate point, I think, of discussion to say, hang on a sec, that's what this religion says, that's what happens in many of the places where the Sharia is enacted completely, but it is absolutely unacceptable. And I don't see why we should resile from making the point clearly and unequivocally, because there are people here like this Hizb ut-Tahrir, like Mr. Badar, who would like to say, no, it is actually okay. As he says, if the little girl is mature, give me a break. If she's not 18, she's not 18.
We can't escape the fact that these comments have been made by Hizb ut-Tahrir on their website.
Correct.
I haven't read the Quran. I have read what they're saying on this website, so there's no doubt about that. And there are many other examples as well where they say things that they shouldn't be saying. The question is, though, should they be banned? I'm not 100% on that. I mean,
Ben,
do you ban something and force it underground, or do you... What do you do?
No, I think what needs to happen with the people who pursue that ideology is the same thing that happened with Christendom after the Dark Ages. You had the Spanish Inquisition, all sorts of horrible things happened in the name of religion. There was an enlightenment and a reformation of the religion, and there was a separation of church and state in many of the countries that, were more and more developed. Now, that has not happened with this particular movement. Hizb ut-Tahrir and what have you would like to see it retained as it was all those years ago when Muhammad